Okay, let's get to a pretty popular motion design principle, which is called parallax. I'm sure everyone's kind of heard of what parallax is. It's been pretty popular for years now, especially with certain like marketing landing pages. But I've also seen it used in really, really interesting ways for just like mobile applications. It's really helpful to, help designers bring awareness to certain parts of the screen and also provide a really, really cool scrolling experience or even swiping experience. So let's get right into it. Parallax creates spatial hierarchy in the interface when a user scrolls. Now, what does that mean, you may think? Let's take a look at a really good website example. Now, parallax is displayed when two or more UI elements move at the same time, but at different speeds. The intent here is establishing some sort of hierarchy. If we take a look at this example, we'll see that as the mountain moves upward, it creates that nice black background for the text to come in. And also with the different types of photos we see there, it spreads them out, makes them seem much more interesting to interact with. You can do this with UI elements. You can do this with things like photos, buttons, all those different types of elements. And it really helps, bring the kind of experience together if it's done right. You'll see us kind of working through this a bit in some of our projects. Interactive elements can move faster and appear in the foreground, like I mentioned, and non-interactive elements can move slower and, recede into the background. It's really useful for that kind of stuff. And designers really can use parallax to separate immediacy of content from ambient or supportive content, like we've seen here. We see these images kind of pop out because that's the type of content we want the user to interact with, especially with like this type of portfolio site or this type of, photography site. Let's take a look at another example. So here's an example in terms of, we kind of see it with the background image on these cards. And, the way it's being used here is it's kind of showing the user what is high priority in the sense of, okay, this card needs to be interacted with, but it's providing a really, really nice visual experience for the user, kind of putting that bit of polish that we don't necessarily actually see on apps these days. Not only does the user kind of perceive the interface objects as now having some sort of hierarchy beyond that which is kind of like determined in the visual design, that being like if this was a static card, but this hierarchy can now be kind of leveraged into having the user grasp the nature of the user experience before, being consciously aware of the design and content. So this is really, really helpful for users, and it's really fun to kind of see this be done really well. And this is a really great example of it being done well within a mobile experience.